The forests of Cross River State are globally recognized for their international importance as one of the richest sites for biodiversity in Africa. The Worldwide Fund for Nature and other NGOs have documented the fact that they harbor an enormous diversity of plant and animal species almost unmatched anywhere else in the world. In recognition of this, the United Kingdom government invested millions of pounds into the Cross River State Forestry Department in the 1990s. The World Wildlife Fund also invested millions of pounds into the establishment of Cross River National Park over a period of 7 years. More recently, the United Nations established the UN RED program in Nigeria, with Cross River State as the first pilot state in which to establish structures to channel carbon credit funds from the world to reward the state for actions to protect these globally important forests. It hoped to expand this program across Nigeria. One of these projects will include the Ikuri Forest along with neighboring community forests in Ikoesai, Okokori, Etara Enyanyeng, Owai and Ukpong River Forest Reserves comprising an approximate total of 214,000 hectares. The Ikuri community's engagement with the state RED program has further helped to strengthen ties between Ikuri and the state government.
They will pay a certain amount.
Dr. Alice Alokeku is the first and only climate change commissioner in the country. She is also the head of the Cross River State Forestry Commission. Her job is to ensure the protection of the state forest reserve. She says the government is working on reaching an agreement with the people.
We must do everything to see to it that the project, the RED Plus project, must go through, because we are almost at the end of the readiness phase. Readiness phase means getting ready for the investment of the donors in the Cross River State Forest so that the forest-bearing communities can finally begin to benefit. And just at the nick of time, all of these controversies have come up. It's a little bit unfortunate, but we can contain it because we must set the record straight. Setting the record straight means to let the people know exactly what is on ground.
The government also said every one tree that has been cleared or would be cleared, 2 or 3 trees will be planted to replace it. Portions of land will be gotten where the different species of trees would be replanted.
Cross River State is the only state in the Federation, including federal government, that has a Ministry of Climate Change and Forestry. What does that translate? Is recruiting 4,000 young men and women. What are they to do? They are divided into 3 groups. One group is to plant nurseries, trees to replace every tree that we are removing along this road. That's one group. We'll be planting nurseries. 2, the second group will be doing the planting. The third group will be doing what? Enforcement, to make sure that whatever we put in place remains in place. That's what the UN is talking about. That if you take one tree, plant 1 or 2 more trees. From Biase down is where the trees are, where the forest is. Okay? But when this program starts, we are no longer going to restrict to this sector. The trees will now be planted from Bakassi to the north. You see, you have multiplied whatever you have done. That's what UN is talking about. If you take a tree, plant 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, we are going to do more than that. Even the areas that didn't have forests, because of what we have done, they will now have forests.
But for the civil society groups, the government is sending out mixed signals.
I have pride of Barbados in Cross River State when I'm a biodiversity hotspot.
Odiga is a former chairman of the Forestry Commission. He opposes the new government plan. After he left office, he was arrested and questioned on its role at the commission. He feels vindicated following government plans to employ youth as green police. Now he asks the government to be mindful of the lives the superhighway project will ruin if not done diligently. He also asked the government to follow the rule of law.
The law says you do EIA at the conception stage of the project. It's not a post activity. You must do it before you start, before the commencement. The waiver that was given to you just do a groundbreaking. What was soft landing for Cross River State government? But they have gone haywire to do all that one. That's number one. Number two, you're saying that the road is going to be 260 kilometers and that you're going to have on the buffer to the left, to the right of the road, 10 kilometers wide. So making the road having a width of 20.4 kilometers of forest. And by our rough estimation, amounting to 535,600 hectares, equivalent of 535,600 football fields of area of land taken away for a highway. That you are making some people become IDPs, internally displaced persons in their own land, losing their ancestral lands. A people whose economy is totally dependent on the forest, you are evicting them from the forest. So you have human rights issues. You have issues of integrity. So this is what we are saying, for goodness sake. We are in a democracy. The land law is a legacy of the repressive military regimes, which we don't need to go back to, which should be expunged. It's trial law, it's anti-people, and should be discarded.
While the accusation and counter-accusation go on, the federal government has been asked to intervene. On Thursday, the 17th of March, the Minister of Environment visited Cross River State and advised the government to put in place a system to identify every species of trees felled and to ensure that such trees are replanted, as well as take accurate stock of the numbers of persons whose farms and crops are affected by the superhighway to ensure that they are compensated. Before her visit, her ministry had released a public notice stating that it is confirming that the Cross River State government registered for environmental impact assessment of the proposed superhighway project. It also states that the Cross River State government is currently conducting the EIA studies, which are at an advanced stage. The notice further stated that in response to the commencement of work at the proposed site and in line with environmental regulations, the ministry has issued a notice for stoppage of work. The notice assures everyone that concerns raised will be addressed in an open and transparent manner.
We cannot start the road construction now, one, until we have the EIA permission from Ministry of Environment. Two, until the consultants finish all their costs, engineering bills of measurements, all the things put together before you determine when, how, and what to start road construction. Those things have to be put together.
With so much outcry, the state government is also showing willingness to dialogue with the people. The Commissioner for Lands and Urban Development has scheduled sensitization visits between the 21st of March and the 4th of April to 11 local government areas affected by the construction of the superhighway. But from the stance of the people affected, it has a difficult task ahead.
Clearly, the superhighway or road generally will attract development, we agree. But we're talking about sustainable development today. And what is sustainable development? You don't put a superhighway in the middle of the tropical high forest, saying you want to bring development. How have you contacted us? How is that sustainable? How does that impact in our livelihood? So these are the things that we need to look at.
Back in Ekuri, people like Mama Innocent, a mother of 6, who leaves home for her farm from dawn and arrives at dusk 6 days in a week, depend on her community leaders to form her opinion.
So our chief talk.
But one thing she knows is that the decisions of both the government and her community leaders have a great impact on her life and the lives of her children. Unfortunately, she has no say in the outcome, but she hopes. She hopes that whatever the outcome is, she and her household will be protected from every environmental and social hazards.
Governments around the world last year signed up for the Sustainable Development Goals. They also committed in December 2015 to help in reducing the impact of climate change. The SDGs provide opportunity for our world to be transformed by 2030 without leaving anyone behind. And from what we have seen, a lot still has to be done and many lives need to be touched. I'm Ayola Kasim, asking you to join us next week when we open a file on another issue. But before then, should you have any comment or question, our inbox at file@channelstv.com is always available. We do appreciate hearing from you. From all of us here in Lagos, it's bye for now.